Hi everyone. Today I've got a slightly different video, and that is because we are hopefully going to be back on the ice fairly soon, all of us. So in order to prepare for that, I've donned these, my skates, with my cozies on because we're on carpet. So the aim of this video, it's not going to be that long, okay, but it is to help you prepare for your return to the ice with some exercises to get your boots feeling more comfortable again. I'd recommend doing these in the couple of weeks leading up to returning to the rink, starting off for literally putting your boots on 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that kind of thing, building up till you can have them on for half an hour or so. Obviously this video is not going to be that long. I'm just going to give you some exercises and basically you keep repeating them, and it's good practice because we're going to look at your lines and shapes and all that kind of thing. Okay, you will need a chair for this because, as you'll know, it's much easier to do most of these balances when we are actually on the rink. So first things first, boots nice and laced up. You might not want to go, perhaps, if you do what I do and lace up and then lace back down again, you might not want to go the whole way back down to start with. You might want to do the first couple of sessions just lacing to the top or to wherever, you know, the highest that you laced before, and then gradually lace back down again as you get more used to them, because the chances are they're going to feel pretty strong and tight if they haven't been used at all. So we're going to start off just gentle bending into the laces, okay, nice and smooth, a nice knee action, down and up, knees over toes, little like half squat, try to ease them, bounce in those boots a little bit, let them ease in, okay, then nice and slow, down and up, down, feel the pressure. So we're going very much straight here. This isn't even using the lean of the ankles for the edges, it's literally going straight into the tongs, pressing through. You're going to notice that resistance probably a lot more than you ever really noticed it when you were on the ice before. Okay, it can feel a little bit like knee skates when you haven't had them on for a while. They will ease up much more quickly than they did in the past. Okay, but don't forget they will have dried out. When we skate, our feet get very warm and sweaty, and all that sweat kind of goes into the lining, which is slightly grim, but true, and that softens them. Also, the heat that we give off as our body warms up helps mould the boots to our feet. If you are finding that you do this for a few nights and they're still really uncomfortable, if you know your skates can be heat moulded, okay, it is obviously check the instructions. Check the guarantee for your skates as well, and check the box. But it may well be that they can be reheat moulded, and that can be a huge benefit. So that it might, if you're finding them very uncomfortable, it might help to get them back. Now just take it one at a time. Bend and bend. You might need a little bit of balance, something to hold on to here. We might be okay to do that in the rain. Just easing it in. When we're on the ice, we can do this as a sort of cool, like, it's cycling or chicken walks, and on the ice we just do it in a straight line as a warm-up exercise, and you're sort of stepping half a boot length in front, getting that nice rhythmic knee action with ribs in, hips under, the good posture, and we can really feel that. When you first get on, take it very, very gradually. Okay, you probably want to go around a couple of times just in 2 feet with some slalom, which is my next thing. So we're going to start to bring in that 2 feet with the lane. So you're going to want to start with some slalom, go down, up, pressing into those ankles with some lemons out and in, okay, and some pumps. And of course we can do that, I'll do that in a second with you. Anyway, the slalom action off the ice, good one to get it going. You can start to find those outside edges and the inside edges as well, but particularly pressing into the outsides, knees over toes, help to get that feel of your boot. Okay, and then you can do it with the foot lifted, okay, or even mimicking the slalom as you would on the ice. With forward slalom on the ice, as you go to the outside edge, the foot turns in, inside edge, foot turns out, and it stays nice and close, but it lifts up as we go through the knee action. But again, we're trying really here to just get you used to the boot again, press it in. I really would suggest that you try to do this over the period before you get back on the ice, probably for at least a 2-week period before, trying to get them on but it will really help when you go to do that first session, and it will hopefully help you last a little bit longer. When you get your first session back, an hour is going to be enough. You may not even want to do that. You might want to start with like a half an hour session or 45 minutes, because they're going to feel probably a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, let's do some lunging. So we can lunge and lunge, lunge and lunge. And again, this is a good exercise. Obviously we can't take the edges over as much as we can on the ice because we haven't got the grip of the blade there to hold us, but you can start to begin to push into those outsides and insides. It's also a good time to, I would also recommend not going with, changing how you lace them. So sometimes lacing over the hook, sometimes lacing under the hook and up, so that you avoid lace bite. Some boots actually have lace bite stoppers designed into them, but not all. These ones don't. You can feel the lace bite. Also, you can sort of, if you might be time to check if you wear bunga pads or you used to, or even if you didn't used to, maybe it's time to check you have a supply of blister plasters, or possibly order a pair of bunga pads so that they're there in case you need them when you get back on, because it has been a while. It is a little bit like the feeling, the strength of new skates to an extent. It's also time to check your blades. So, take your, sat down and with your boot off, have a good inspect, look at it, feel along the blade gently, check that you can feel the hollow nice and equally the whole way along. You can feel the edges nice and clearly, the outside and the inside, that there's no nicks, no little kind of knocks out of the blade or nothing like that. No damage to it. Check there's no rust, and that they don't look particularly scratched. If there is any signs of damage, or they just feel a bit blunt, or you're just not sure, it's probably better to just go and get sharpened before you get back on. It will actually help as well, because one of the things that people commented on is when they get back on the ice, because obviously the kids are back on, they're saying that it feels a little bit like they feel a bit blunt. And certainly when I came back after the first lockdown, I noticed that. And they actually weren't blunt, but I've been back on teaching, and these are freshly sharpened, and they felt so much nicer. So it might be worth just getting sharpened. Okay, let's do tuck behind. Actually, let's go through the skating lines. Okay, good practice anyway. So the first one, turns line. So as with all things, and this is just a recap, we have our 45-degree angles. So our skating leg is at 0. We have 180 degree, we have 0 degrees directly behind it, okay, and 90 degrees to the side. I'm going to bring my foot into my turns line, instep to heel. On this occasion, obviously there are occasions when it would be heel to instep, but we're turned out to 45. That's my diagonal line there, and I can just down and up there, bend and rise and press in to the boot. And of course on the other side, the same thing. And I do it a little bit more each day, and it will start to ease. And you can sort of start to play around with the edges as you do that as well. Nice pointed free foot. Push line, so we go bend, we take it along and we go out along that 45 degrees, so 0, 90, along the 45, toe behind you, ankle forward, and rise to come in, bend as it goes out, rise to come in. In theory, it should never hit a static position when you're skating, so you should be bending and extending, reaching that maximum line, and then coming back in, rather than just hanging there. Okay, down and up, and the opposite way, down along that line, and up, down and up, along. And you can start to lean a little bit towards the outside edge, knee over toe, down and up. Keep it nice and strong. Think of lifting the leg through your muscles in your bottom, your glutes, okay, and keeping the ribs and hips under your core engaged. And again, just do that until that feels a little bit more natural. Next line is our cross line. So again, this time the 45 degrees is to the opposite side. So there's 0, there's 90, and we're going along that diagonal. And we're going to put a bit of pressure over the inside edge this time. Same as the skating line, the bending and extending is happening at the same time till you reach the maximum position, and then you come back. The maximum position being pushed each time based on how much you can bend, and that will probably, it should ease each time you get your skates on. So the first time that you try them out before getting back on the ice, they're probably going to feel quite stiff, but go with it. Prepare it. There. Our circle would be here for the record, so we'd be in that position, but I'm just holding on for balance because I'm stood in my skates. But I can feel that that's improved from when I was doing this last week when they felt really stiff. My toe is again pointing behind me and my heel's trying to point forward, so that as with the forward skating line, the aim is for the toe to elongate beyond, so that the line never ends. Down and up. We bend through a lift shaft so that our body doesn't go forward. So that's the same with any of these, through the turns line, the skating line. We're not doing that, we're keeping the back strong, and through the cross line. So my lift shaft's there, bends there, and even when we're doing the knee action, basic bends. Okay, we'll do some step outs to crossover lines. So together, step, lean the feet a little bit carefully, or if you're not confident to do it, then free of it, then you can hold on to a chair and do it that way, so you've got that extra bit of balance. Lean in, head up, nice wide step, and 3, step, and 3, 3. Okay, and then we've got our backward skating line, so our forward extension. The thighs are fairly close together, so it's still the toe pointed to 45 degrees at the corner. So there's 0, that would be 90. The toes going out on the diagonal, but our legs are staying nice and close together. Again, we'll be bending through our lift shaft. We're reaching away. Just keep it on a straight leg, so you don't need to worry too much about your edges. You can start to play with the edges there, because we did that with the slalom earlier. Here we can just do it straight. And you should just find that it's easing each time we do it. So we bend and it goes out, rise and comes in. And again, we never reach a static point. Okay, you can, if you want to do it as prep to help find the pressure in the boot, you can try it a few times, but when you're skating, it should be down, reach the maximum and pull back in, no sit in there too long. Down, and up. Okay, so hopefully they're starting to feel a little bit more like your feet. Do a few more rocks and more slalom actions. Okay, have some bends to the inside edge. Okay, so knees together, knees over toes, but coming inwards, knees out, bends to the outside edge. Some pliés. Okay, knees over toes, ribs in, hips under. Body strong. And then the next thing to do is some practice with the weight of them. So we're going to lift our leg up. So this time we're not actually bending, so we're not practicing getting the boots off as much as strengthening the legs. So we're just going to do some lifts. Up and down. Fantastic. With the balance foot it's quite hard. Okay, so we're not actually letting that foot touch the floor. The quad's engaged, the calf's engaged, and I'm lifting from the muscles in my bottom. Perhaps you'll find this is really to pray for the weight of your boot, because you may have forgotten what that feels like. You may have been doing ankle weights, so it might not make much difference. If you haven't, this is how we lift our legs from our bottom in skating, so this is going to help prepare you again for that. Okay, and the same behind you, lifting up, turning out, so we're going along the 45-degree angle, just not doing it with the knee action this time, just the lifting to help you get used to that. Good. The other thing to practice is just the heel to instep and instep to heel, so you know where those positions are. So if you're ready for, say, your open mohawks, heel to instep for open mohawks, so you get used to finding that point, and your closed mohawks or jackdaws or whatever, instep to heel, so it comes in behind, so you start to refamiliarise yourself. You can step through your turns, down, come up as it comes in, bend, same principles as the pushing, but just finding that transition between feet. Last thing, it's kind of it for strengthening. You can just quickly, if we just another little exercise. This is quite hard to prepare your core and get you ready to ready for skating. Is just lift and lower on the floor. So you're practicing lifting that leg up with the weight. Just slowly, don't let it touch. Okay, and the same with the other foot. A few exercises, or you can do it lying on your chest and lifting there with the weight of the foot. Skate. Lifting from the bottom, so it's similar to what we did stood up. So you're preparing for the weight of your skate. You can also do it on all fours and tap. So I've done some of these exercises before, keeping the core engaged, ribs and hips under, and tap, and tap. This is strengthening for the weight of the boot. And in, and out, in, and out. You can even take it up higher, so you're prepping for your spirals. In and out, in and out, and hold it. Other side. So we have the tapping first, not to just keeping it under control, turn the foot out, and then in and out, nice click there, in and out, in and out. We can lift and hold. You can of course practice spirals as well. Have a stretch out, reach towards your boots, okay, and you can even practice your things like your holds, gripping the blade, stretching, or the same thing, lying on your back as a way of practicing. And of course you would hold all of those. You can also grip around the heel, so you're practicing your grip for like your waist stands. So if you're doing a bit of a stretch, and lying on your back, take it through, you can hold. Last thing, practice some spirals with your boot on. So you're getting used to that weight. If you will be bringing back your spirals. When you get back on the ice, your first session is really just going to be edges and getting used to your boot again. Okay, and you're getting used to the skate, the blade. You're not going to be particularly doing these things like spirals, but it's good to build up to that and be prepared for when you are. All right, everyone. Well, hopefully that's something you can use to help you feel confident, a bit more confident for when you do get on. But just be gentle and kind to yourselves. Take it slowly. Expect it to feel a bit strange, but know that it will come back because it did last time. And these exercises will help prepare you for it. All right, everyone. Bye bye.